Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Jason Collette. I'm here with my wife, Michelle, and our good friends, Ming and Sharon Sue. We're excited to share from the scriptures and our lives about the ways that we've worked to stay close, patient, and hopeful, even when one of us is feeling down or low on faith. We've been married for over 28 years, and we're still learning ways to strengthen each other and support each other spiritually through our walks with God. The theme for today is the adventure of a lifetime, getting in tune when you're out of sync.
Wow.
I'd like to start with a scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 and 10 and verse 12. It reads, "Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken." One of the times I would have fallen without Michelle's help was a time when we were trying to adopt. I was struggling with insecurity because being adopted myself and having feelings of rejection, I was afraid that God wouldn't help us adopt a child. Michelle helped me become more aware of the fears and pride in my heart, to see the ways I wasn't trusting God, and to wrestle in prayer to believe. Although it was a challenging time, God brought us closer together, and her faith helped me overcome my unbelief. We can all learn to help each other to stay close to God when we're drifting, keep our love alive when we're distant, and when we're discouraged, we can help each other live out God's purpose for our marriages.
One of the things I realize as I've gotten older, it's easier to drift.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
And Ming loves fishing.
Come on, Ming.
And we were talking about this the other night, and he brought up this great analogy about drifting. And he asked me, do you allow the currents of your life to take you away? And
good question.
I know over the last 2 years, I feel like I've experienced a lot of currents.
Yeah, come on, Sharon. Yeah.
And I think all of us, as we get older, life can get hard.
Right. Yeah.
And about 2 years ago, I had a full hysterectomy. Yeah. And after that procedure, they found precancerous cells, which was very unexpected.
Right.
I felt like I was just starting to get my bearings in life. And then the following Thanksgiving, my dad called and said he had lung cancer. And so for the last 7 months, my dad lives on the East Coast. Obviously, we're on the West Coast. I've been taking care of him.
Yeah.
You know, he was alone. He had no one else to help him. That was arranging all of his drivers through agencies, taking him to chemo, taking him to appointments, flying back and forth.
That's intense.
You know, moving him into a nursing home, installing cameras. The list goes on and on. And unfortunately, he went into hospice and he died. This past June. And even after someone passes, as the executor, the work continues.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to quit in my relationship with God. I can't handle the thought of growing or changing or doing anything new or different.
Right.
I just want to be, or I want to run away, or I want to isolate.
Yes.
And so it can be challenging.
Yeah.
And it's easy to want to drift, not only in relationship with God, but even in our marriage. Ming was a great support, and I couldn't have done any of this without him. But it's easy to kind of just go through the motions in a marriage and just try to survive, but not try to thrive. And one of the scriptures that stood out to me was actually Galatians 6, verses 9 through 10 in the Message. And the scripture says, "So let's not allow ourselves to get fatigued doing good. At the right time, we will harvest a good crop if we don't give up or quit. Right now, therefore, every time we get the chance, let us work for the benefit of starting with the people closest to us in the community of faith." I've never really thought about my marriage with this scripture. And I'm tired. Menopause is killing me. I don't sleep. I didn't sleep before it. I don't sleep now. I'm really physically fatigued. And I can relate to the scripture. The scripture tells us, like don't get tired of doing good.
Yeah, right.
And it says don't give up or quit. And that's hard not to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And the scripture is convicting because it says every time we get the chance, which is a lot. It's not just
Get a lot of chances
here and there.
each
You
other.
have a lot of chances. So this scripture is really convicting. And obviously it says starting with the people closest to you, which should be God and our spouse.
Right.
But a lot of times it's our spouse that we quit on or we give up on. And back to Ming's great analogy. So I have to give him
Ming.
credit
Yes.
of his
That means I could
analogy.
fish more.
That's right. Come on, man.
But he also talked about, when we were talking last night, about how currents also separate us from each other. I feel convicted because sometimes I'm so tired and so overwhelmed that I think, okay, I can maybe focus on my relationship with God, but I'm convicted because I don't think about me. Like how often when we drift, we're not thinking about the
that's
other
true.
spouse.
That's right.
About
Yeah.
each
And
other.
so I think both of
Drifting
us
away.
want to work on trying to get closer. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to give it over to Ming, who's going to talk about distance. But I think we both have gone through the ebbs and flows of the currents together, which I really appreciate.
Right.
But I know that I have to decide to not drift
Yeah.
and to stay connected and do it together.
No, that's great. I mean, I think the other temptation is distance.
Yeah.
And this summer was definitely a challenging summer, but
Yeah.
I guess in the years that we've been married, there have been many kind of obstacles, crises, things. I mean, it is an adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I thought about of an adventure, I thought about the Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
There's an
Come
adventure.
on.
With
Nice.
any
Yeah.
great, meaningful adventure, you will encounter impossible obstacles. You'll encounter
Good point.
conflict.
Yep.
You'll encounter crisis. And every adventure usually exposes not only strengths, but also weaknesses.
Yes, absolutely.
So this summer, I probably, if I have a memory from this summer, I had to do the graveside eulogy for Sharon's dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
That's
as many
hard.
as
Come
as
on,
you
man.
guys know, I don't particularly like speaking.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like doing any kind of eulogy or anything.
Yeah.
But I got emotional.
Right. Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
started crying.
Yes.
And afterwards, Sharon was so happy afterwards, even though her dad had passed. But she goes, that really helped me.
Wow. That's
Because-
great.
I didn't realize how much you cared.
I remember when that
that's great.
happened
Wow.
though, and I brought it up to him about, like, I thanked him for crying at the funeral. And at first he was kind of taken back about it. Why are you thanking me for crying at your father's funeral? And he kind of got defensive about it at first, but I had to explain to him that it really touched my heart
Wow,
because
that's
I
great.
saw how much he really
Right.
loved him.
Yeah.
And obviously we had been through a lot together, but I really appreciated
Yeah,
that.
for
And that was
sure.
something that was special to me. But it was kind of a moment where at first it was kind of uncomfortable discussing it
right,
because
right.
it seemed kind of odd
Yeah.
to thank him
Yeah.
for crying.
Yeah.
But then we kind of got to the crux of it that it made us closer. And I really appreciated that intimacy.
Well, for sure, because the one thing I know that I'm good at is a to-do list and getting things done.
Yes, which he did. He did a great
But
job.
what it really also exposed, I'm very uncomfortable with emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really uncomfortable. I'm comfortable with very good emotions like joy, elation,
Right. Right. Me too. Me too.
sad,
Sadness.
No.
fear,
Yeah.
grief.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable
Yeah.
with seeing weakness. And so that was a really challenging time. But, we had a choice to either grow distant
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
get things done
Yeah.
Right.
and never deal with the weakness, or to really be vulnerable
Right.
and grow and learn.
Right.
So that was, even though it was a hard summer, it was great in the sense that, I think we overcame and we helped each other. And And we got to see the things that we needed to work on.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be more obstacles,
Yes.
conflicts. We're in a real life
More
Lord
to
of the
come.
Rings.
That's right.
And so the scripture that I thought about was James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4 in the NASB. And it says, "Consider it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be," and I love this because I apply this to marriage and for us, our relationship, "perfect and complete, lacking in nothing."
Wow.
We can definitely relate to what you guys were sharing. There's been times for us that we've been distant. I think there's times
that's
we've
right.
drifted, but I
Yes.
can also say there's been many times in our marriage that I've been discouraged and really needed Jason's help.
Yeah.
I like the title of Adventure because it just, I don't know, helps you to see life in a positive way,
Yeah.
that there are ups and downs. Like Ming
Yeah.
said, there's conflict, there's scary times, there's joyful
Yeah.
times, instead of trying to expect everything to be smooth sailing. But I've found often when I've been discouraged, I'm also difficult.
No, I can't believe
Now
that.
see, Jason isn't supposed to
We
agree.
can't imagine that, right, Jason?
Can't
imagine.
Can't imagine.
Zoom right in
I
here
don't
to
think
his
that was
face.
on the script.
I'd rather complain, make my arguments about how impossible a situation is to overcome. And I also like to convince Jason at times that things are way worse than he even knows.
Yeah. very true.
Right? When he
Very
starts to
true.
get
Well, I'm
positive
in
in
denial
faith,
a lot,
I'm like,
so-
no, it's
So you
much
help me.
worse than you can imagine. Okay.
yeah.
But what I've found is this tears down his faith and confidence rather than simply and humbly asking for help. And
Yeah, man.
Isaiah 46 hit me. In verse 12, it says, "Now listen to me. You're a hard-headed bunch and hard to help. But I'm ready to help you now. Deliverance is not a long-range plan. Salvation isn't on hold." So when I'm hard to help, a lot of times it's because I'm hard-headed, meaning I'm proud, stubborn, and I can resist influence. Jason's had to talk to me many times like, you have to be willing to change the way you're thinking if you're
Yeah.
going to come out of this discouragement.
Wow, that's
But
true.
many times when I'm discouraged, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I've checked out all the options, I've researched everything, I know it all, and I don't need to change my
Right.
mind. I
Right.
just need the circumstances to change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But what
Yeah.
I'm learning is whenever I'm discouraged, God is always ready to help, and he often helps me through Jason. And I definitely can relate to family health challenges. My dad got out of the hospital last year, and his health was rapidly declining. I was getting more fearful,
Yeah.
more discouraged about the possibility of him becoming a Christian. That was very important to me.
Yeah.
And we'd been praying about it. I'd been praying about it for over 30 years. But I'm learning that some things are easier for one of us to believe than the other. And
Yeah.
Jason had more faith for my family, honestly,
Wow.
at times that they could become Christians. And there's a great scripture in 1 Thessalonians 3 that says, "So we have been greatly encouraged in the midst of our troubles and suffering, dear brothers and sisters, because you have remained strong in your faith. It gives us new life to know you are standing firm in the Lord." You know, Jason helped me to stay focused on helping my dad become a Christian. He gave me the idea to show my dad videos of my
Wow,
daughter
that's
getting
amazing.
baptized.
Aw, that's
And
so
also
special.
my neighbor, shout out to Joe, who's 88.
Wow.
And my dad watched those videos and was like, wow, look at them getting baptized.
That's amazing.
You know,
Yeah, it was really
he,
That's really
he
awesome.
gave me faith to go, let's just simply ask them. And I asked my dad if he would get baptized, and he said yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Jason kept believing it was possible, even though there were many details to work out.
Yeah, that's true.
And I appreciate what Ming said about obstacles,
Yeah, there's
because
some
there's a lot of obstacles that I think I can get distracted
Yeah,
by
right.
many times and
Yeah.
also discouraged by. But Jason's calm, faithful focus on even just staying focused on helping my dad get baptized got us through every obstacle. So many obstacles, I'll just list a
good.
few.
That's great.
There was an emotional 5-hour drive. Once my dad said yes, we came back home. We had to go back to Reading, to where my family lives. Let me tell you, that was a very
Yeah, that was a
emotional
long-
drive, up and down, fearful it's not going to happen. He's not
Yeah.
going to do it. There was finding the baptistry, which ended up being a blow-up size family pool. I don't know how a family could fit in there, but from friends of bars
Yeah.
that we
That's
borrowed,
right, man.
and Jason assured me it would fit perfectly into my dad's
Yeah,
shower,
right there.
which it did.
Wow.
Okay. There were
Design.
other family members that we had to keep out of the picture and keep busy. There was getting my dad away from the TV. That was a challenge.
Yeah.
There was working with the staff and facilities of the home that my dad was in, including a facilities manager who Jason talked to and reassured him that we would take care of this. The manager said, we've never done anything like this
Yeah,
before.
the first-
There was the physically carrying my dad. They had to lower him into this, which Jason had, had the strength to do and lowered him in. My dad actually
Wow.
yelled as he was lowering it in, screamed.
That was scary.
We all paralyzed. We all got scared. And then my dad goes, oh, leg cramp. So sometimes the obstacles are not quite what they seem. And there was
Sometimes I
even,
get
it. Scary, man.
yeah, it was
Whoa.
scary. But even reassuring me when I was afraid after he was baptized,
Yeah.
even then I had doubts. And Jason kept a calm, faithful focus and
Yeah.
said, your dad thanked me so many
Yeah,
times.
that's right, yeah.
Just like the scripture said, Jason staying firm and focused gave my faith new life. Very grateful for that.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Great story.
Jason, you
There
should
you
be
go,
in the
man.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, exactly, man. The adventure and such like that. Well, we want to just thank you so much for coming and listening and participating in the discussion together. You'll have an opportunity to be able to share and realize how much on this adventure, sometimes one of us is up, one of us are down, but we're able to help each other out in these ways. So whether you might feel like you're distant or maybe discouraged or any of these ways, I pray that you'll be able to help each other to grow and change. We're also going to have some questions that you can be able to look at together to be able to have, just a beginning of those conversations. So you'll be able to have those experiences here at your time together. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.